Good evening all and welcome to Dr. Anima Upadhyay's Chemistry Lab videos. Now we are in the Chemistry Lab videos. I will be talking about the chemistry labs and the various terminology used in the labs. When you are coming to the chemistry lab, you are given some substances for analysis. There are two types of analysis: qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis. In the qualitative analysis, we give you some substances and ask you to identify them. Like salt analysis, we do acid radicals and basic radicals. But when you are doing quantitative analysis, we are asking you to determine the strength of a given solution using a standard solution. So basically you are doing titrations. So what is a titration then? Titration is a quantitative analysis of a given analyte using a titrant. What is an analyte? Analyte is a substance whose concentration is determined with the help of a titrant. What is a titrant? Titrant is a substance dissolved in a known volume of solution. That means titrant is one whose strength is known to us. Can we prepare a standard solution from any salt just by weighing it and dissolving it in water of known volume? No. All substances cannot be used to prepare a standard solution directly by weighing. And on this basis, we can classify the substances into two types: primary standards and secondary standards. What are primary standards? Primary standards are those substances from which the standard solution can be prepared directly by weighing them. But from secondary standards, we cannot prepare this standard solution directly by weighing them. Can you differentiate between primary and secondary standards? Primary standards are extremely pure, non-hygroscopic, they have a constant weight and they have a high molecular weight. Whereas secondary standards are hygroscopic in nature, they may be impure and their weight is not constant. Can you give some examples of primary and secondary standards? The examples for primary standards are sodium carbonate, disodium salt of EDTA, ferrous ammonium sulfate, that is Mohs salt, potassium dichromate. And secondary standards are potassium permanganate, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. What are salts? Salts are the substances which are produced by neutralization reaction of an acid and a base, and they are electrically neutral. The related numbers of cations and anions in the salt are same. When we dissolve it in water, they dissociate to form ions. That means they dissociate into ions. Okay, so dissociation you are saying. So can we compare ionization and dissociation as same? No. Ionization and dissociation are not same. Ionization is formation of ions, whereas dissociation is separation of ions. Dissociation is a reversible process, whereas ionization is an irreversible process. Formation of zinc ions from zinc is ionization. But Separation of sodium and chloride ions in water while dissolving sodium chloride salt is dissociation. What is a compound? A compound is a substance in which two or more elements are present in fixed quantity. For example, water is a compound of hydrogen and oxygen. When 2 moles of hydrogen combines with 1 mole of oxygen, water is formed. What is an element? Element is that substance which cannot be further splitted. Like hydrogen and oxygen, they are elements present in water. And all the elements are listed in the periodic table. Now you have said that you have prepared a standard solution. With the help of standard solution, you are going to determine the concentration of a given unknown solution. So how you will calculate the equivalent weight of a substance using molecular weight? To determine the equivalent weight from the molecular weight, we have to divide the molecular weight with the n factor. That is the number of electrons or ions transferred. Say for example, let us take potassium dichromate. The molecular weight of potassium dichromate is 294 and n is 6. So when we divide 294 from 6, we get 49. That is the equivalent weight of potassium dichromate. Similarly, we can calculate the equivalent weight of ferrous ammonium sulfate. Molecular weight of ferrous ammonium sulfate is 392. N is 1. So equivalent weight also is 392. So when you are preparing a standard solution and you want to calculate the normality of potassium dichromate, what you will do? To calculate the normality of a given solution of potassium dichromate, we'll take the weight of the potassium dichromate, say it is x grams, multiplied by 1000 and divided by the equivalent weight of potassium dichromate. That is 49 into the volume in which we have prepared the solution. Say we have taken 250 ml plus, so x into 1000 divided by 49 into 250. On simplification, we'll get 4x divided by 49. So this is how we can calculate the normality. And also we can calculate the equivalent weight from the molecular weight. What is the endpoint in the titration? The endpoint in the titration is that point at which the indicator changes its color. What is the equivalence point? Is equivalence point and endpoint same? No, endpoint and equivalence point are not same. At equivalence point, the number of equivalents of the titrant is equal to the number of equivalents of the analyte. So there is no further reaction between the two. But at the endpoint, the indicator changes its color. So they are slightly different, not exactly the same. We can calculate the equivalence point from the titration curves that we normally do in the volumetric experiments when we are using the instruments to determine the quantity of substance given in the analyte. So today I will stop here. If you have any further queries in this, please ask the question by leaving them in the comment box. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Keep watching. Keep learning. Thank you very much.